Recording.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to New Forms Release Update for December 2025. There's not a whole lot that they've updated. Thankfully, they're giving us a little bit of a break. There is a new document that I'm going to go over in depth. Thankfully, it's a recommendation, not a requirement, but I will tell you the benefits of it and how it can be used in your business. It is called RAD, Realtor Acknowledgement and Disclosures. I'm not sure that it's as rad as it sounds. Yes. But in order to continue to be transparent with our clients, they've created a new form. There are three specific scenarios where this form is recommended by CAR. Um, we're going to go over those in depth. I put the draft picture here. If you want to look at this in draft form, you can go onto CAR or your zip forms and into the transaction section, just put in the search new forms released for December 2025, and it'll show you a list of all the ones that have been updated. There's minor adjustments to the RPA, to the listing agreement, and those will be in red. So if you see them today, pretty much, because I think they're going to be released out tomorrow into our actual zip forms. You'll be able to see the spots in red, and those are the things that are updated. And the RPA, they added something in the disclosure section recommending buyers to get an electrical inspection on homes. It's just a little paragraph. Thankfully, with all the updates they did, it's still 17 pages, so it's not longer than it used to be. But if you're interested in what they changed, you can go ahead and look at all the red letters. But back to RAD. Okay, this part right here, section 3, we're going to go over in depth in a second, and these are the times that it is recommended by CAR that you use this document. Okay, let's break it down. Section 1 and 2 is acknowledging the difference between a realtor and a non-realtor. So section 1A talks about how realtors are bound by a code of ethics. And then in 1B, you're disclosing to your client, yes, the standard is I'm a realtor, and then they want you to write in here the association that your local association. So here in Fresno, we'd put Fresno MLS, etc. You get it, but it's letting your client know that you are a member of NAR and your local association. For agents who are not realtors, they would have to check the box that they are not a realtor and therefore not obligated to follow a code of ethics. Okay. Then number 2 right there, steps to get service support. This is basically telling your client how to tell on you and file a claim if they don't like what you have to offer them. So 2A talks about, hey, communicate with me, let's work it out. If you can't work it out with me, talk to my broker or my manager. And then if not, B2B is reach out to my local association, which is listed above that you typed in up there. Okay, so not sure we would ever just give this to our client, but let's move on to when this is recommended. The first time it's recommended is if you are receiving compensation for multiple sources, and I'll go into that more in depth. This is just the breakdown cheat sheet. Number 2, do you have ownership interest in the property? And the third time is, are you receiving or are you paying a referral to another agent? So let's break it down. Section 3A, compensation from multiple sources. This is going to be used or recommended to be used if you, let's say, you are the buyer agent, you have your buyer representation agreement for 3%, you've written your offer, but the seller has only agreed to pay 2.5% of that buyer broker compensation agreement. So you are then going to charge your buyer that extra 0.5%. This section here is a reminder to your buyer that you are paying or you are getting paid from two different places. So in that scenario, you would check buyer and seller because they're both paying your compensation. But now notice that it says, if not already disclosed in the agreements signed by my client or otherwise. Okay, well, if you're doing it correctly, your buyer is already going to know because they have been explained, it's been explained to them what the buyer broker representation agreement is, that they've agreed to that 3%. They're going to be aware that they asked for 3% from the seller and the seller only agreed to 2.5%, and you're going to continue that conversation with them, either reducing your commission down to 2.5% or charging them that other 0.5%. So really, this isn't going to be necessary if you are explaining to your client correctly how this works. Okay, and then also notice that it says obtain signatures from principal on agent's side of the transaction. Okay, again, so if you're representing the buyer, your buyer already knows that they have a BRBC. They already know what the seller is willing to pay towards that amount, and they're the only ones that has to sign this. So, my opinion, I don't think you need to use this in this scenario. Okay? We can discuss it more later if you guys have questions or feel differently. All right, moving on to section 3B. Present or potential ownership interest in the property. Notice how this says obtain signatures from all principals in the transaction. So this would have to go to your client and the other side so that everybody's aware that you as the agent have ownership interest. Now, if you're on the listing side, that's going to be that you have ownership interest in the property that you are selling. And then if you are buying, you're representing the buyer side, you're going to let them know that and it says contemplating a purchase because this is going to be sent when you're submitting the offer, basically. So obviously you're not purchasing it yet, you're contemplating it. It's just a word game. Okay, and then you're going to check the box either for yourself, a member of your immediate family, on behalf of the brokers you work for, or an entity that either you or a member of your immediate family is a part of, another person that's related to you by blood or marriage, or any other person with whom I have a special relationship. They said they added this verbiage because everybody would get sticky over, well, it's my cousin, or it's my boyfriend, or it's my fiance. We're not immediate family. We're not blood related. We're not married yet. So they have a box for any other person that you have a special relationship with. Okay. Special relationship.
Why?
Yeah. So they felt that this was important because being realtors, we're bound by the Code of Ethics, and the Code of Ethics states that you have to disclose when you have an ownership interest in either selling or purchasing the property. Now, there's never been a box for this on the purchase agreement or the listing agreement, but we're supposed to let everybody know. So if agents remember, they're writing in other terms, agent related to the buyer, or if you're countering back because it's your listing, you're going to say agent is the seller or agent is related to the seller. But just like all of us, we struggle with how to write that and what to say and what words to use. And so they thought they would make it easier by giving you an actual area that you can disclose this in on a separate form. Okay. Now, section 3C. We now have to let our clients know if we are receiving or giving out a referral. So again, this one is only between you and your client. You don't have to let the other party know about this. So it says, if not previously disclosed or agreed to. So if your client isn't aware, you're supposed to fill out this document that basically says, one, receiving compensation. I'm receiving compensation. Okay, the only time you would use this is if you are the listing agent and you have received a referral from someone else to list their home. And you're going, wait, no, that's the opposite. Um, I'm being paid by, my broker is being paid by, I'm receiving compensation. Okay. So 2 is when you're paying compensation. Okay. So that's going to be a listing agreement, or if you received a referral from an outside area and you are paying them, you're saying my broker is paying compensation to, you're going to put that brokerage's name. And then 3, you're going to fill in the amount that you're getting or giving. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. So a lot of times your client again is already going to know because their friend or whoever they had worked with previously is giving you that referral and they're going to realize that. So maybe this is designed more for Zillow agents or agents that are working with referral companies like that who might not be super clear on how it works. They want you to be really clear with your clients on how your money is being distributed, all in the name of transparency and disclosure to our clients. Okay. Now, in the RLA section, they have created a new line in section C5 where you're going to check a box. Broker is paying a referral fee related to the representation of seller. Okay, so if you receive a referral from an outside person or Zillow or whatever you might work with, you're going to check this box. And once you check this box, this RAD form is going to auto-populate into your forms. So then you're going to have to fill it out to let your client know that you are paying a referral fee to work with them to someone else.
List.
Yeah, this is only on the listing. They did not update this on the purchase agreement. Okay, so it's right there, section C5. All right, now the signature section. We always get confused where it says broker, real estate firm. You're going to put Century 21 Jordan Link there, and you are going to sign this as the agent. It does not need to be signed by your manager or your broker. This is for you to sign, just like our purchase and listing agreements. But then here, they want you to put in the contact person's name. So you'd put your manager's name, their telephone, and their email. Because again, remember in section 1, it tells them directly if you have a problem, contact their manager or their broker. And this is where that information is going to go. Okay, and then down here is your respective client. Now remember, it only has to be signed by all parties if you are letting them know that you have an ownership interest in the property. Otherwise, this only has to be signed by your client. Doesn't need to go to the other side. Okay, that's it for that form. And there was really not a whole lot else to go over as far as changes. So I'm going to open it up for questions.
You got a question on the chat?
Okay,
You want me to review it? Actually, you should probably read it
I
out.
can see here. Okay. Will the RAD form require a percentage amount be identified? Yes. If you are going, if you're filling out this section, oops, sorry. If you're filling out the compensation section in 3C, yes, it does require you to put the amount there, the referral amount. Is that what you were asking? The chat went away.
Calculated out or is it just
There's both. There's a line that has the $ or you put the percentage out.
Yeah.
You're probably going to do a percentage.
Excuse me.
But you can come off of mute if you have a question.
Okay.
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
can
say,
come off
yeah,
and
throw it out there. Jessica and Mitz, I heard there was a question that came from Fresno that you answered there, but we couldn't hear it on the chat. What was said question?
I think she was just clarifying if when we're writing in the compensation amount, do you have to put a dollar amount or a percentage amount?
Ah,
And I
perfect.
said it's either or, but most likely you're going to be writing the percentage because at this stage in the game, you're not going to fully know what the sales price is.
Question. There's another question from Cassie. Right.
Okay. I can't find my chat box on here.
It says, what if the referral comes from an agent inside your brokerage?
Okay, what if the referral comes from an agent inside our brokerage? I don't think it matters where it's generated from if you're going to use this. Now remember, this is recommended, not required, and it states right there, if not previously disclosed or agreed to by my client. So as long as you are transparent with your client, then I don't think that you need to actually use this form.
Where else would you put it if you didn't use this one?
I don't, there isn't a place that you have to actually write it down. The question was, where else would you put it if you don't use this form? There isn't a specific spot. It's just, again, the clear communication with your client.
So it could be a text, an email.
Could be a text, could be an email, could be direct communication with you and the other agent. Sandra has a question.
I feel like we are, do you think we're probably moving towards where this is gonna be mandatory?
It might be that. I have a feeling that a lot of other brokers are going to require this. So we need to know this form because you might be seeing it come back and forth, or maybe it might be filled out incorrectly. So we need to know about it. But at this point, we are not making a requirement for us. But if, if you do have an ownership interest and you didn't write it in the offer, most of the time you're having to do an amendment or something, but now you have this document you could use instead.
And that would be the only reason we would get it from another.
Yes, the only reason you're going to receive this from the other side is if that other side has an ownership interest and your client needs to sign it, acknowledging. And this form is just an acknowledgement from your client. It's not an agreement. You're just disclosing information to them and they're acknowledging that they get it. Any other questions?
Yeah, I've got something.
Okay.
So with our affiliated marketing disclosure that we have in our templates now that hopefully every agent has been using for the past however many months, since we've been kind of ahead of that, and you've said, this one's not the requirement. The affiliated marketing disclosure that we have, that one's our requirement. So does
Yes.
that kind of, take precedent over the RAD form, or is that still kind of up in the air?
Well, the affiliated business is, I think it's a lot different than this form is in respect to the interests we have as a brokerage in other businesses. So, I don't know that this specifically relates to these 3 times it's recommended. Yeah. I would say, yeah, this is specifically for referrals or your own ownership interest in a property, nothing to do with what your brokerage has.
Perfect.
Jessica, I have a question. So
Yeah.
in addition to the referral form that we fill out between agents, what's the name of this one? I don't know if you said it up front and I missed it because it looks
It's
like
the RAD, RAD.
Oh, it is the RAD. Offer AD RAD.
Yeah, RAD, Realtor Acknowledgement and Disclosure.
Okay, so then that will already be populated in our forms, in our zip form, so we don't have to go look for it, or are we gonna have to go look for it?
Our templates are not going to be, not yet anyway, updated to include this. So if you need this form, you're going to have to look for it in your forms. The only time it's going to auto-populate is if on your listing agreement, right here on the screen in section C5, if you check this box that your broker is paying a referral fee related to this representation of the seller, then it will automatically pull it in. But that's only if you check this box on the listing agreement.
Okay. I know there's a referring company that never has allowed me to discuss that I have to pay them a referral fee. I guess I would have to go back to them and let them know that we are now required to disclose that to buyers. or, anyone for that matter, listing here.
It's kind of hard to hear you. Are you saying that you have a referral company that doesn't want you to disclose that they're being
Yeah.
paid?
They've always, I had a company that told me that I wasn't supposed to be discussing my compensation with the, with how much they're gonna get out of this.
Oh,
Not
well,
my compensation, you know how we charge listing 3%. Well, the referring company, gotta pay them their cut. So they're like, well, you don't discuss this with them, so. We would still
Well,
not need to discuss that, we would just put 3%.
you fill out the form to the way that you fill out the form with whatever percentage you're paying that company. And, and after all of the lawsuits and everything, we're moving in the direction of full disclosure of where all of our compensation is coming from and going. And according to our code of ethics, they want you to be clear with your client and transparent about your referrals. So
For
that
me, that
referral
makes
company, I think, is in the wrong there.
Yeah, well, and I'll be talking to them about that, so yeah, that makes sense to me. To
Okay.
disclose it.
Sandra, did you have a question? Okay.
Yeah, so I think a lot of agents are working for people online, different bases that they work for. And when you're taking a listing or purchasing, a lot of times that client does not know anything. They just click on
Yes.
something
Yes.
on online, and they're not aware that Paul has went out and worked super hard for them, and by the end of the deal, they're sold on Paul, they love Paul, and they have no idea that Paul's giving up $4,000 or $5,000 to this referral company.
Correct.
Because they clicked online.
Yeah.
So I think our clients are gonna be very surprised at this,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't think we talk about it a lot.
Perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Good thing.
Yes, and so go ahead and make sure you check the box on your listing agreement in that situation. Because I think that a lot of the online places and apps and whatever, they're pretty secretive and they make it hard to figure out.
Extremely.
Yeah.
Extremely secretive.
Mhm.
People do not know that you're giving up a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. I think that covers it. That's got a question.
Yeah. Anyone else have questions about this? I don't have the chat. Anything come up?
Nope.
No. Okay. All right. Well, that's all I have for the updates. They will be out tomorrow. Again, take a look if you're interested. Look for all the red letters. Those are the updates on all the forms. There's a few updates on the TDS and SPQ, nothing major, mostly reorganizing of some of where the boxes are. So, yeah, nothing I felt that we needed to discuss. So anyway, reach out to me if you have questions or concerns or comments or need help with anything, and I'll try to figure it out too.
Thanks, Jessica.
All right.
Yes.
Thanks, Jessica.
Thanks,
You're
Jessica.
welcome.